Hey guys, welcome to episode 78 of the AllGenGamers. I am one of your hosts, Johnny Millennium, and we are joined by the awesome, the incredible, the beautiful, the incredible Pete Dorr.
Hi.
Yeah, that's about what I thought. And we are joined by somebody who's not quite as incredible, that's pretty damn good, Gamester81.
Hey, I'm not beautiful either. What the
Well, you're not bad. You have your days, I guess.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But we are joined by a super beautiful man, Jason Heine.
I like the sound of that.
Oh man, I brought this into a weird way already. But I'm really excited to bring on our guest. He was highly recommended to us. And oh man, there's so many things I cannot wait to ask our guest, Joseph Yaman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you.
But Joseph has quite a history of many things, and I will highlight a few of them. Joseph actually started a small little convention known as MagFest back in, I think, 2001, wasn't it, Joseph?
We started prepping the show in 01, and it ended up, because of, 9/11, a million other things getting bumped into 2002. But yeah, so it happened in 2002, but we started it in 2001.
Nice. So we're going to get into all of that, which is going to be exciting. And also, Joseph held the very first TurboGrafx 16 ever made. I can't believe that. I can't wait to hear this one. And also, he's going to share some stories of when he was in school, and he's going to talk about the late Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back, which is something that we're all dying to hear. And, why don't we just get to the beginning of a lot of things? Why don't you take us to the very first thing, the TurboGrafx, because that's probably the first thing in all of this story leading up to, MagFest and all of that. So how did you come to even, get to touch the first model of the TurboGrafx? How did that happen?
Well, that actually happened because of MagFest. It was actually sent to us to put on display at the show, but we were actually, for the most part, incredibly worried about theft, so it stayed hidden in ConOps most of the time. We brought it out once or twice and paraded it around the game room, but then there's a couple of pictures on my Facebook of me holding it and so on and so forth.
Now, is that the very first model then?
What it is Steve Garwood, the guy who used to run TurboZone Direct, he worked for Turbo Technologies, in the early 90s. And when they were taking that nosedive in 93 and early 94, he bought up all the existing stock and opened up. He already had a mail order business, which he still has today. Free plug, ampie.com for all your classic music CDs and stuff. It's short for American Pie. And so he opened up a second, mail order business, TurboZone Direct. And he bought everything. Turbo Technologies had brought him into the company because they needed someone familiar with CD. Remember, TurboGrafx, first console CD system in the world, let alone the US. And so nobody really knew how to market it. So they brought in someone who knew all about, marketing music CDs. He had a big business there up in the Valley somewhere. Any of you guys from SoCal or mid-California-ish?
No.
Canada here.
Yeah, okay, but yeah. So about 12 hours or 13, 14 hours north then, sure. So he bought all their existing stock, which included, it was the first TurboGrafx 16 chip system to roll off the assembly line, and it's in a glass case, or like hard plastic. I forget what the type of plastic is called, and it's on a little pedestal in there, and there's a little plaque that says, first TurboGrafx, September 1989. And sure enough, if you flip the glass box upside down and look on the bottom, you can see the serial number of the system, and it sure enough it says 00000, a whole bunch of zeros, 1. And he sent us that to put on display, and he sent us the very last Turbo Duo, not the highest serial number, but the very last one that he physically carried out of Turbo Technology Industry, the company, before, they turned off the light and shut the building down, and he had it marked, last one. And he let us keep that, and we auctioned it off, and it sold for about $500 at MagFest 1. And actually, my co-chairman, Sean, bought it because we were losing money the first year, and he said, Joe, I'm going to lose money anyway. I have to pay this back. I might as well have something to show for it. Since that was donated to us by TurboZone, the proceeds from that sale would just go straight to the show anyways. And Sean still has it, the last Turbo to ever, come out of the warehouse before they closed up and moved over to TurboZone. And Mr. Garwood also sent us a Turbo Express and a TV tuner, which we sold maybe 200 something. He helped. The TurboGrafx people really helped us out a lot with MagFest 1. We had a lot of MagFest 1. I still think is the closest anyone has ever come to TurboGrafx Con, and that's the little thing about MagFest that that I'm kind of the most proud of.
Nice.
That is awesome. How did you guys get in touch with him? Because I knew of his business. I phoned him up years ago. I think back in 2000, and I was phoning up to find out how much a Turbo Duo was from him, and he's like, $560, or I would say it was an outrageous price. It was a really crazy price. I'm like, oh, do you guys ship to Canada? He's like, well, I guess so. I'm like, okay, thanks. And I'm like, it's just kind of shady.
He was, we were buying them because they had to wait 10 years after Hudson or Turbo Technologies closed up. They had to wait 10 years because of licensing and warranty stuff before he could. Because if people had warranty issues, the warranty was up to 10 years, so they had to hold on to as many as possible. But once that was up, he had this existing stock he'd been sitting on for 10 years. He just put them up for sale on the website. They were $200 a piece. And how I got to know Garwood was, when I had a Turbo Duo I got a Turbo Duo for Christmas in 1992. And I know, like I'm one of the 5 people that
I got the CD unit the first Christmas it launched.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Wow, nice. That thing was even more expensive.
It was ridiculous. I thank my parents for that one. That's for sure.
I actually had that and a Super System card until recently. I finally just swapped them out for a Duo. First time I've had a Duo. I had the Pioneer Laser Active for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And that thing was I had the Pioneer Laser Active with the American Duo pack. I got a mint for that thing.
You got the pack, the TurboGrafx 16 pack for that?
Yeah. Well, I sold it all. I sold the whole set about 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's rare. I have the Genesis pack for it, but I don't have the new NEC TurboGrafx one yet.
The Laser Active and the Jenny pack, they go for pretty cheap, but that Turbo pack goes for like $500 or more.
Right.
I sold the whole set pretty much based around that piece.
This podcast was created by retro video game collectors and YouTube show hosts Pete Dorr, Happy Console Gamer, Gamester81, and myself, Jason Heine. Make sure to follow along and subscribe to us on iTunes under the podcast section, AllGenGamers. And if you want more information about this podcast, please visit www.allgengamers.com.